there's a pretty agreed upon opinion from Punishing Gray Raven players, and that's this: tier lists are bullspit.
You sure about that?
And here's why. It's really hard to measure a character's value in Punishing Gray Raven because you have to take into account not only their element, their role, and their team composition, and how they fit within that. So it can be really difficult to say a general, this character is an S rank, this character is an SS rank, because you have to take so many things into account. And how do you measure an attacker against a support in terms of an overall tier list and priority? You can't really do that. It's a little more complex. You have to get more into the nitty-gritty in terms of an overall value on a character. But that does not stop some of these websites from pumping out Punishing Gray Raven tier lists that just very often are absolute hot garbage. I remember seeing a few of them myself when I first started playing the game. And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to take a look. If you're a new player today, what would you see if you were to go online, go on Google, and to search up what are the top Punishing Gray Raven tier lists? So let's jump in and find out, are any of these online tier lists actually good? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below, your guess of what you think the tier list is going to be before it gets started. All right, let's go check this out. I thought the best way to start this, the most authentic way, would be to just Google Punishing Gray Raven tier list and to see what comes up. Did I spell Punishing Gray Raven wrong? Yes, I did. Don't judge me. I'll be sad about it. But I just wanted to start with searching that up and see what came through. And we do have 3 different websites that we can go in and take a look at. We've got one from Sportskita, one from Mr. Guider, and then one from Pocket Gamer. Let's take a look at what we can see on Sportskita just to start us off here. A Punishing Gray Raven tier list, PGR, can help you find the best performers in the current meta. Okay, it is crucial to build a capable team to ensure emphatic performance and wins in Punishing Gray Raven. However, with the ever-changing meta and rigorous character adjustments, it's tough to keep track of the best PGR constructs. That feels like something straight out of ChatGPT. If you were to ask, like, hey, write me an article on Punishing Gray Raven tier list. That sounds like something 100% that you would put into that. Rigorous character adjustments. There's not really any rigorous character adjustments except like leaps, which are fairly rare. So I'm not like that. That's why that does not feel real to me. Not off to a good start. If you're confused about picking champions, nobody calls them champions in the current meta. This Punishing Gray Raven tier list is just for you. This article ranks all constructs based on their performance in the meta. Okay, they switch back to constructs here, but champions still kind of adds ChatGPT to the list here. Okay. Let's take a look. So they start us off with the S tier constructs, no separation of any kind based on the role that the characters play. Taking a look here, they do have Liv Imperia, Selena Capriccio, Bianca Veritas. I think this is global, so like not terrible. Wanshi though? And then wait, hold on, Wanshi Fate. That's not a character. I'm pretty sure Wanshi Fate was the original localized version of his name before he got the official Hypnos name on global. Can you stick to one formatting here? Like, why does Kamui Tenebrian and Vera Garnet and Chrome Glory not get hyphens? And Wanshi does, Liv Lux does, and the top ones do, but then also Wanshi Fate, comma 9S. This could be a typo. You know, maybe they're just trying to have 9S here as the S rank, but that feels sloppy at the very least, which I don't love. The only characters they actually talk about are Bianca Veritas and Rosetta Vigor. They don't even use the right name. Why? Why would... Okay. So they give no descriptions or details for any of the other characters that they've placed into this list. They have characters that I probably would not say are S rank characters, even if we're looking at some of them in context. They get some of the names wrong or just list characters that literally don't exist. Not off to a good start. Terrible. And then we can switch over to the A tier constructs here. We've got Lucia Dawn, 2B and A2. Why would you put 2B and A2 in an A tier, but then 9S in the S tier? I don't know. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I'm not sure why you would do that. Roland, like, that's the other thing too. Like, uniframe units, guys, like, I don't even think it belong in tier lists, in my opinion, because the places that you're going to use them are just so absolutely limited that they almost belong in kind of like their own category entirely. They just don't fit into a regular tier list, in my opinion. You don't mix them with Omniframes, typically speaking. So as of right now, like, I wouldn't even blend the two. And again, they highlight as A tier constructs Bianca Zero and Liv Luminance, which that feels really outdated now that Liv Luminance has its leap. 100% she should be in the S tier now. Hold on, just to be generous, when was this last updated? September 10th. Yeah, her leap was around at that time, so 100% she should be in the A tier. So, oh my gosh, guys, this is not great. Yeah, this article is not clear. They give you no details. There's a lot of sloppy information. No, this is terrible. This gets a fail for me. We're only running pass fail here. I'm not giving you scores, but I'm gonna say this is 100% a fail. We got a fail right here, so chalk one up for the fails. Let's take a look at the Mr. Guider list. Okay, this was last updated in October. So, I mean, like, I'm a little optimistic. There might be some positive stuff here. Let's go through and take a look. They do rank it from tier 1 to tier 6, which I hate that, to be honest. I feel like we've got a pretty established format here, everybody. We like to use S as the top tier, or SS if you're a frickin' nerd. And then you can kind of go down to a C or D depending on the actual, like, range of character skill set. Get this, like, 1 to 6 out of here. No, get out of here. Look, hey, they've got change logs up to July 2nd. So, I mean, like, that's not terrible. They've been updating the article. Oh, and you know what? They actually even separate it by role or the kind of unit. Like, not bad. Not a ton of descriptors, but that's pretty good. They do also mention that there is a range in terms of investment for some of the characters with 2B. I have heard that I don't currently have the Nier team. I started just at the end of the Nier collab, but I have heard that 2B does need a little bit of heavy investment to be good. So, I mean, like, not bad information so far. And the fact that they have the amplifiers even split out, I think is pretty good. I don't think there's really any context given to the amplifiers, and amplifier is a little bit of a catch-all label. So I don't totally love that still. Like, for example, they have Liv Imperia and Selena Capriccio as tier 1. I personally don't hate that because Liv Imperia is still the meta fire DPS as of right now in global, just because of the characters that are released. And Selena Capriccio is the, like, meta support unit for the dark team. So I don't mind them being tier 1 because that's kind of where they fit into that. But Liv Imperia takes on more of a DPS role, while Selena Capriccio is kind of more of like a sub DPS. So it does feel weird to not kind of give some of that context there, though. But overall, I don't hate it. Although Selena Capriccio literally has zero information. They just literally list amplifier, which is like, cool. I can see that in game, guys. That's very unhelpful, but okay. Then, okay, taking a look at our attackers here, we've got tier 1, Laurel, Plume, I guess. There's not really a better ice. So, like, if you were to say, like, oh, you need an ice attacker, who's the best ice attacker? Like, see a Plume. Like, yeah, okay. 2B is 1 to 2. Crimson Abyss, Bianca Veritas. We're missing. Stigmata has not been added. So that feels weird. But okay. Like, I don't mind Lotus. Palefire, I actually probably wouldn't put at tier 5 with his leap. That feels a little bit off to me. But let's see. Plume, Laurel, Crimson, Veritas, Entropy, Blast, Astral. 3, 2. I don't hate it. I don't think this format is helpful. I'm a very visual person, and I would say that visually this does not really convey a lot of information to me, other than kind of looking at the top 5. And if I do look at the top 5, like I said, I don't actually hate it. Still feel like there's not a lot of information on some of the characters. Like, some definitely have more than others. You know, they do give the caveat for the investment here. Like, okay, they give definitely more on some of the more favorite characters here, like Crimson Abyss, but like, yeah, it's kind of like hit or miss overall. But I'll say generally, okay, not bad. In an attempt to shorten the video, I'll say the tanks kind of fall into a similar category. I don't hate the top list of the top ones. They have, like, again, they're still missing a ton of information on some of the descriptions, but their tier 1 picks, at least on the tanks, is not a terrible set. I definitely would not have put Kamui Tenebri in as tier 1 now. He should be lower, and Kareni and Asira should be there for the dark team, which is great. I mean, they do note he should be only really used with the dark team, so I respect that overall. So not terrible. They did it again on the supports. They have Wan Shi Hypnos and Wan Shi Fate. No, you were doing so well, Liz. It doesn't even exist. And they even have it in here too. Guys, it's the same character. It's things like this that you look at that you can tell this is not written by somebody who plays the game, because that's like an easy catch. That's not hard. That's not hard to notice. That's terrible. Come on, guys. Liv Luminance has a question mark. Why? Overall Punishing Grey Raven tier list rank tier question mark. S-Liv is not great except in Babel. Better to build Liv A or Liv B. Okay, that feels again like sloppy typing. But that, and I will say that's just outdated. Like Liv Luminance is definitely the top pick right now, as long as you've got her leap over Liv B. But actually that wasn't an argument that people were making kind of prior to her leap. So like not completely off. Little outdated, but like not the worst. And then they've got a tier list for the Transcendence, which I appreciate that they've at least kind of got their own category here. It's kind of hard to measure tier lists on them, especially because like when you're looking at like elements, there's not a lot of crossover, but that's fine. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I was expecting hot garbage from this one. It's not hot garbage. It's like a bit of cold fast food where like, I don't love the formatting. I don't think there's a lot of super helpful information in here, but I will say the characters that they've got listed as like the tier ones and stuff, I don't hate. They've got it separated by role, which is kind of helpful. And they do have a couple little like notes added in there. So actually not the worst. I will reluctantly give it a pass, just especially comparing it to the Sports Skeeta one. I'll give it a pass this time around, but we got one more. So let's have our tiebreaker here, and we're going to take a look at Pocket Gamer. We can see we've got the Punishing Grey Raven tier list, best constructs ranked. It says October 2023, updated 1 week ago. So I'm expecting big things, okay? Punishing Grey Raven tier list, S rank constructs. Okay, so they're doing the tier list based on the rank of the character. S tier constructs, Live Imperial Pulau. That was Pulau's localized name, Ornate Bell. And then they have her listed further down. Okay. Oh, well, this is S rank, so we can't check Wanshi, but we'll check Wanshi on the other one too. Although Vera Flare, that was a localized name. So clearly they made this list probably close to launch, and they included a lot of localized names, not the actual translated names that were actually officially released. But I mean, like, but then they've got Hakuma Starveil, and then Nanami Starfarer, Bianca Stigmata. Okay, so like, yeah, it definitely is like a weird mix in there. They've got Rigger, right? They've got Rosetta Rigger. What the heck? Rosetta Arctic. That's not a character. Oh no. Okay. All right, looking at the descriptors down here, we've got, wait a minute. Pulse, Ember, Tenebrian. These are just the characters from the S rank selector. These just are the S rank units. They're not actually tiered. Why is this a tier list? It's just like a freaking blue box listing all of the S rank characters, and they're like, yeah, they're S tier characters, guys. And then these are just like the base S rank characters from the starting selector. There's no additional details here. What is this list? What is this article? They do the same thing for the A tier characters. Hold on, we gotta check. To their credit, they don't have Wanshi in here twice. But they do have Sophia Silverfang, and they have Sophia Silverfang. Hold on. Bonji Fate? Who's Bonji Fate? Is this a secret character in Punishing Grey Raven? Who's Bonji Fate? Fate. Wait. Wanshi Fate was the one that was used in the other article. Is that supposed to be the Wanshi Fate, but they called it Bonji Fate? Oh my soul, what is this? And then, yeah, it's like the base starter A ranks in the game. And let me guess, it's the same with the B ranks. Lucia Padma? Liv Benediction? Oh my gosh. This is absolute hot, steaming garbage here, guys. There is no useful information in this. I don't even know how you can even remotely call this a tier list. There's nothing here. There's nothing here. It just basically lists all the characters and only tells you kind of the entry level ones. Oh my gosh. And they probably update this every little bit, so it's at the top of the list for searching. This is absolute hot, steaming garbage. Absolute fail, guys. We got to fail on this one. Holy smokes. Like, if you were a new player and you came in and you read this list as like who you're going to start with, one, you would either start building one of these base S rank units, or you would just assume every S rank character in the game is just the best character and build them. Like, I'm so sorry for any of you new players who found this article and actually tried to use it. This is terrible, guys. This is why you should not be Googling PGR tier lists. Like, not doing it in that way. Here's my recommendation. I'm not going to leave you with nothing. I'm not going to leave you floundering if you do have questions. Here's what I would suggest. If you are curious if a certain character is good, look up that character specifically and look up guides on that character to understand more about them. There are multiple YouTube content creators who have done guides on nearly every single character in the game. Spider2B and Rexlink come to mind as two content creators who do great guides to help you understand the characters. And there you'll actually get an accurate picture of if a character is good or not, or worth building or not, or how they kind of fit in the overall game. Another approach would be too is if you're lacking in a specific element and you're trying to know how to approach that element for some of the different game modes, look up a team composition for that element, looking up a fire team, a PGR, global fire team, or something of that nature, and that will kind of give you some combinations. If you are curious in that, I do have a series of videos that I've already done on the different meta teams that have been found kind of on the CN side that I've pretty much translated directly over to global as well. So feel free to check those out on the channel, guys. But that's why don't just look up general tier lists. They don't work for PGR. It's too complicated in how you're measuring them. Just look up characters specifically to find out if they're good and worth building. But that's going to be it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.